All right, before I get started, I just want to say my condolences to the family. Rest in power, GOONEW. I don't know his real name. Um, but let's go ahead and get into it. This is not a reading, right? But I did feel like there was a message there. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. As soon as I saw, first of all, before I get into this picture, okay, let's get into how him and you see this picture? Him and Fujiano, they look alike. They look alike. Like a lot alike. And I don't know why, but I need to look into this number. I think that's 1917 and 10. What is that? What's on his chain, y'all? I can't even really see that good, but most definitely I'm going to try to figure it out before it's all said and done. But they look alike. They look alike a lot. Look at this one and then this one. They look alike. Okay, I don't know what this is. I don't know if this was. We're not going to do that because I've seen, just because I've seen it doesn't mean anything. But the two people that were speaking on his behalf, his mother and his sister, no disrespect. I pray they do. Please don't come for me, ma'am. Okay, please. This is just something that my spirit called me to do because I came over from High Priestess Kathy. People were asking if it was some kind of voodoo ritual. Um, if we as Black people kept in touch with our roots, regardless of, don't try to blame, oh, it's the man, it's this, that, and the other. Learn your roots. Track down, learn about your ancestry. Track down people in different tribes that are connected to you. Okay? And learn about your history. Don't use the sources that are well known. Use some other private company that could be more trusted, and don't just use one, use two or three of them to actually test your DNA to see where, your origins, your family's origins, where they're from. All right. Now, yeah, so this is Fujiano and this is GOONEW. The first thing that stood out was 64. It's this picture. I'm sorry, this Fujiano. Forgive me, y'all. Let me slide this on over. 64. Y'all see this chain that got 64 on it? I said that's a really odd number. Like, why 64? Just like I'm asking why 19. What does it say? Either that's 1917 or that's, I think that's 1917. Like those are, I don't know if that's like the birth date of a great great grandparent or something like that. I don't know. But that's an odd number to have on you. I don't know. Maybe that could represent the label or something that he's, I don't know. But okay, it's not about Fujiano, it's about GOONEW. So when it comes to this 64, something just told me instantly Gematria. Go to the Gematria and look. When I came over here and I just put in 64. I didn't even put his name in. I did eventually put his name in over here. And I was actually like, whoa, whoa, right? So over here, the first thing I see, which stands out to me, is Inky. Then I see Gog. I said, wait a minute, isn't there a Bible or something in the Bible about Gog Magog or something like that? Inky, Gog Magog, change, Mamba. Those stand out to me. When people tell you stop the cap, that didn't really stand out as much. Pac, look at that. Pac, like Tupac. Pac and Tupac are here. Lime. And you know what's interesting about that? And no disrespect, but his mother had on lime green. When it came to the Braxtons, they had on lime green for their sister's funeral as well. Magdala, like Mary Magdalene. It's too many Bible references. I'm gonna tell y'all what I think. I think that GOONEW was connected to, his bloodline was connected to the Anunnaki. Okay, so they knew who he was. They were just waiting for the moment that they could take him out. That's my belief. Okay, so even when I put in his actual name, I didn't just put 64. And then also when it comes to that 64, it stood out before I even realized at the top of the page, big 64, big 64, big 64. Oh my God. Okay, so let's go to Inky. Inky, Sumerian, is the Sumerian god of water, knowledge, crafts, and creation, and one of the Anunnaki. He was later known as Ea or Ei in Akkadian, Assyrian, Babylonian religion, and is identified by some scholars with La in Canaanite religion. Okay, so we know who Inky is now. Anunnaki. We know who Inky is. This is just. Let me see what that. What is this? Hmm. Look at that. Okay, child. Let's go on back. Let's not get lost in the sauce. So the next one that I wanted to look into was Gog. Gog and Magog. If you guys want to take the moment to read all of this, you absolutely can. But I'm just going to leave it right here. So Gog and Magog appear in the Hebrew Bible and the Quran as individuals, tribes, or lands. Gog is an individual and Magog is his land. In Genesis 10, Magog is a man and eponymous ancestor of a nation, but no Gog is mentioned, and centuries later, Jewish tradition changed Ezekiel's Gog from Magog into Gog and Magog. The Gog prophecy is meant to be fulfilled at the approach of what is called the end of days, but not necessarily the end of the world. Jewish eschatology, look, we gonna work through it, y'all. Uh, viewed Gog and Magog as enemies to be defeated by the Messiah, which would usher in the age of the Messiah. Christianity's interpretation is more starkly and apocalyptic, making Gog and Magog here indicating nations rather than individuals, allies of Satan against God at the end of the millennium, as described in the book of Revelation. Look, look, look. It's bigger than what you know. It's bigger than what you can even imagine. It's bigger than what you know. I really believe because of his connection, his bloodline connection, that's why he was killed. So it would be so easy to think, oh, these were some gangsters, some let me show you. I'm gonna show you what they, because I don't want to say it. 64 also gives us the word what? You would think it was some from his hood, right? You would think it was some Gus from his hood, right? And look right up under that, I am Baal, Balal, or Baal. Oh, child, when I tell you it's bigger than what you know. And then aging, this is the gateway. This is father time, because time deals with aging. You know, when people get older, time is passing them by. They start to aging. So Saturn, they wanted to put a stop to him. So they, all right, Gematria, heaven's gates. the light of eternity. I could look at him and tell he, I don't care what he was doing, where he was doing it, and how he came off a certain way. There was so much light in him. Okay. There was a lot of light in him. I see it. Like, especially with this, it just like he just got this funny. Like, I don't know if he just, I don't know. That picture made me laugh because he's so cute. But biblical judgment, the covenant. So we already talked about Gog and Magog and the end of days. It says a legend was attached to Gog and Magog by the time the Roman period. Let me unplug this. That the gates, look at that, the gates. Y'all see that? Y'all see that, right? The gates. Let me go over here. Heaven's gates. This man is connected to a, this was definitely a ritual, but it was not like people are trying to blame his peoples as if they knew something or did something. Um, ugh. I look, do y'all see this? By the time of the Roman period, at the gates of Alexandria were erected. What are people talking about right now? Him being stood up, being stood up, erected in the club, and everybody partying, right? The gates of Alexander was erected by Alexander the Great to repel the tribe. Romanized Jewish historian Josephus knew them as the nation descended from Magog, the Japhetite, and as in Genesis, and explained them to the Scythians. I just seen that word somewhere else. Scythians. In the hands of early Christian writers, they became apocalyptic hordes. Throughout the Middle Ages, they were variously identified as the Vikings, Huns, Khazars, Mongols, Turanian, and other nomad, or even the 10 lost tribes of Israel. The legend of Gog and Magog and the gates were also interpolated interpolated into Alexander romances. In one version, Goth and Magathi are kings of the unclean nations, driven beyond a mountain past Alexander and blocked from returning by his new wall. What's his name? GOONEW. GOONEW. Gog and New. GOONEW. Oh my God. What in the world are we looking at? What are we looking at, y'all? Gog and Magog are said to engage in human cannibalism. Mind you, there was an article that came out about the sunspots. Shout out to Miss Maria Galvin. I think Maria Galvin Hill. She pointed out that when they put an article about the sun, it said something about the solar flares have a cannibalism type of, I don't know what they were trying to say, but cannibalism. They were engaged in human cannibalism in the romances and derived literature. They have also been depicted on medieval cosmological maps, sometimes alongside Alexander's wall. Y'all can pronounce that. I'm not gonna do all that. What are we looking at? And then this Gog and New GOONEW. So he was. This happened to him to send out a message. Like, it's kind of like, I wish I. Okay, I'm gonna need to get his birthday. I'm gonna need to get his birthday. So then I look up Chicana because that comes up too. For 64. But let's go back over here. So heaven's gates. We just talked about gates, right? Gog and Magog. The light of eternity. The covenant. Biblical judgment. Unconstitutional. Chainsaw. Let's see what else. Believe in the light. Ain't no mountain high enough. Almighty God, creator of all. Inky. They going back to Inky. This is who they consider the God of all. Inky, the Sumerian god of water, knowledge, crafts, creation. and one of the